For day 2 of solving equations, we continued what we had worked on Wednesday, but we are now adding in where we have variables on both sides. So we're still going to continue the same process. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw our line through both sides of our equation. Step 2, we need to simplify each side. That means we're looking at the left to see if we can combine the 3x and the minus 4 together, which we cannot. And we're also looking at the right to see if we can combine the 5x and the plus 12 together, which again we cannot. For the reason we can't do that is, remember, if they have x, we can't put it with something that doesn't have x. So I don't have to worry about step 2 in this problem. There wasn't a need to simplify each side. Step 3, I need to label my sides as my x's and my everything else so that I have my guide map of what needs to move. So remember, if my left side is my x side, which that leads me into step 4, if my x side is my left side, that means everything with an x should be on the left and everything that does not have an x should be on the right. So if I just focus on the left side over here, 3x minus 4, well, if this should have just x's on it, that means this minus 4 should not be there. So I'm going to get rid of the minus 4, and to get rid of the minus 4, I need to take this minus 4, move it to the other side, and it's going to become a plus 4. So it is gone. And then I'm going to, so far we're good because everything on the left side now has an x. So now I need to look at the right side. So I'm going to ignore the left side for now. And the right side over here is my everything else side. That means that it's anything that doesn't have an x with it. Because again, my x's should be on the left side. Well, 5 has an x with it. That means 5 is on the wrong side. So I need to get rid of that 5. So I'm going to take the 5x that's positive, and I'm going to move it to the left, and it's going to become a negative or a minus 5x, and then it is gone. So if I rewrite my problem, I have 3x minus 5x equals 12 plus 4. And I need to go ahead and simplify that, which means I need to combine my like terms together. So that means I'm looking at what I can combine together, which my 3x and my minus 5x, they're like terms because they both have x. 3x minus 5x is negative 2x. And then on the right side, I have a 12 and I have a plus 4. I can combine those together because neither of them has a variable, and that's going to give me 16. So I have now simplified both sides. I've moved everything and simplified. So for my final step, I need to multiply or divide by the coefficient. Well, the coefficient's the number in front of the variable. That means this negative 2 here. Remember, negative 2 and x are multiplied, and the opposite of multiplying by negative 2 is dividing by negative 2. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 2 so that it goes away, and I get x equals, well, 16 divided by 2 is negative 8. So negative 8 is my solution to this problem. That means if I were to plug that number back in, then I should in fact get the two sides that are equal. So that's what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this problem, I'm going to check it. So I'm going to start with when I check, I always take my original problem, which was 3x minus 4 equals 5x plus 12. And I am going to replace, remember we found out that our x's was equal to negative 8. That's the math we did, and we found out x was negative 8. So we're going to replace those x's with a negative 8. So I have 3, and instead of x, I'm going to put in negative 8 on the left. So 3 times negative 8 minus 4 equals 5. And again, instead of x, I'm going to put in a negative 8 on the right, plus 12. Well, 3 times negative 8 is negative 24. So negative 24 minus 4 should be the same thing as 5 times negative 8, which is negative 40 plus 12. Well, negative 24 times, minus 4, I'm sorry, negative 24 minus 4 is negative 28. So I have negative 28 on the left, and negative 40 plus 12 is also negative 28. So since my left side and my right side were in fact equal, then my solution, my equation is true, so my solution is x equals negative 8. My next problem is 2 times x minus 1 plus 3x. So I'm going to go through the same steps. Notice I don't have the steps written, but I'm going to follow the same order. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my line through the equal sign. And my second step that I need to do is I need to simplify. Well, if I just look at, that means I'm looking at each side and figuring out what I need to do. So looking at the left side, I have 2 parentheses, x minus 1. When we see those parentheses, that tells us that we need to distribute. So negative 2 times x is negative 2x and negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2. Because my parentheses stops, I stop distributing as well. So I bring down my plus 3x. So I've taken care of the left side. Well, now if I look at the right side, there is nothing that I need to do because the right side is already simplified. The right side is just 16. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite that equals 16. So just continuing with step 2, which is I need to simplify. That means I need to combine my like terms. So I'm taking anything that I can combine together. Well, I have this negative 2x and I have a positive 3x. Those are considered like terms because they both have x. And negative 2 plus 3 is going to be a positive 1x plus 2. That plus 2 just comes down. And it's going to equal 16. Now, I don't have to write this 1 here. It doesn't matter if I have it or if I don't have it. It doesn't make it any more right or any more wrong to have that 1 there. So now I'm going to go ahead and label my sides. Well, I have my x side and I have my everything else side, which means if it doesn't have x, it should be on the right. If it does have x, it should be on the left. So if I'm trying to figure out what's on the wrong side, then I need to look at those labels to help me out. So this left side over here should be just x's. Well, notice I have a plus 2. That plus 2 doesn't have an x with it, so the plus 2 needs to move to the other side, and it's going to become a minus 2, so it is now gone. So I have 1x, or x, equals 16 minus 2, which is 14. Notice that x is completely by itself right now. The coefficient of x is a 1, so that means that we have completed our problem. We have found our answer to be 14. For our final problem, we have 12 minus x plus 3 equals 14 plus 2 parentheses x plus 5. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my line. And then I need to go ahead and simplify my sides. So if I look at the left side, I'm going to cover up the right side to kind of just help us out here with a visual. So if I look at my left side, I have this parentheses here, but notice there's no coefficient in front of the parentheses. Recall, if we don't have a coefficient, that coefficient is a 1. So I'm going to go ahead and put that 1 there because that 1's going to be incredibly important. So I don't distribute my 12 because I only distribute what is directly in front of the parentheses. So what's between the sign, the plus or minus sign, and the parentheses, that's the part I distribute. So I'm going to distribute that negative 1 times x, which is negative 1x, and negative 1 times 3, which is negative 3. So, and that's all I need to do on the left side as far as distributing. So now I'm going to look at the right side. And again, I have parentheses on the right side, but I only distribute what's in front of the parentheses between the plus sign and the parentheses, which is that 2. So I'm going to be distributing this 2. So I'm going to go ahead and bring down my 14, and I'm going to distribute 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times 5 is 10. So if I look back at my left side, I do have some like terms on the left side. I need to go ahead and simplify those. So I have this 12 and this minus 3 that are going to be like terms because neither of them has an x. So I'm going to bring down my minus 1x, and 12 minus 3 is going to give me a positive 9. And then if I look at the right side, notice I have 14 plus 2x plus 10. So I'm going to be able to combine that 14 and that plus 10 together because, again, they are like terms. So I have 14 plus 10 is going to give me 24 plus 2x. So now my sides are simplified. So at this point, I'm ready to start moving stuff around. So I'm going to label my sides. So I have my x's and I have everything else. So if my x's should be on the left, that means that plus 9 should not be there. I'm going to take this plus 9, I'm going to move it to the right, and it's going to become a minus 9. And then it's gone from the left side. And that also means that my 2x should not be on the right side because it has an x with it. So I'm going to rewrite that on the left side. It's going to be a minus 2x, and it's now gone. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite what I have so far. So I have negative 1x, minus 2x on the left, and I have a 24 and a minus 9 on the right. So I can put those together. The negative 1x minus 2x is going to give me a negative 3x. And then I have 24 and minus 9, and that's going to be 15. So I am almost done. I need to do one more thing to get x by itself. So the last thing is to get rid of the negative 3 that's in front of x. Negative 3 is multiplied by x. So to get rid of something that's multiplied, I'm going to divide both sides by negative 3. and I get x equals -5. So -5 is my final answer.